Hello everyone, I trust you're doing well. Much like Crash 1, I only played the Insane Trilogy version of Crash 2, and playing Crash 1 on PS1 for the first time made me worry. If you watched that video on Crash 1, you'll know that I think there are 5 core problems that make Crash 1 age poorly. The jumping, the inconsistent bouncing crates, completing the game, saving your game, and your lives resetting. I was hoping that Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back would fix these problems. So, did it? Well, first, I need to disclose again, I'm playing this game on the emulator DuckStation, which lets me improve the visuals and allows for save states. Let's start with the gameplay. As a sequel to the first game, Naughty Dog wasted no time refining the physics and controls, with Andy Gavin helping to improve the game's engine. And let me tell you right now, I felt the difference almost immediately. Much like the first game, you can jump, spin, bounce by holding jump over crates, and all you have to do is get to the end of the level. Aku Aku can take hits for you and make you invincible with a speed boost for about 20 seconds if you break 3 of his crates. Break all the crates and you get a gem. Beat all the bosses and you're done. The jumping is better than the first game. Well, mostly. I still find I do turn on the spot a bit too slowly. As you can see here, I'm just able to fix my jumps in time. Still, it's a massive improvement over the first game, where I felt Crash was swinging more than jumping, if that makes sense. I think it's because in this game Crash feels lighter. I felt more confident going for some tricky jumps, as you're seeing now in my footage, and it's mostly because of a new move that has become almost as synonymous with Crash as the spin attack, the slide jump. Basically in this game, by sliding, you can attack enemies, extend your attack by spinning out of a slide, and most importantly, you can jump out of it. It gives you a speed boost as well so you can clear the distance, and you can even get some hang time off edges. You also have a belly flop that can break one of 2 new crates, the reinforced crates, which not even TNT can break. And like the slide, there are enemies you can only defeat with the belly flop, though obviously sliding still takes priority. Especially since there's a trick you can exploit. If you roll your thumb along the slide, jump and spin buttons, you'll do what I like to call a super jump. Take the first level for example. Instead of fighting enemies in this pit, I just have to do the super jump and I get out immediately. And here, I'm able to reach areas that I wasn't supposed to without timing. This alone improves the game's pace and flow from the first one, and Aku Aku even speeds you up in water now as long as it's shallow. You can also crawl. And this is basically all you use it for, the bonus rounds, and to get a secret exit in hanging out. But I'll talk about that later. Yeah, those are your new moves. That's it. Like the first game, you don't have much, but really this is all you need. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Although there were moments where I got stuck on what feels like absolutely nothing. But apart from that, I was genuinely happier from start to finish. It was almost like whiplash going from Crash 1 to Crash 2. It's a completely different game playing it. Although I should let you know there are some alternate gameplay styles, the first of which is the jetboard. You use the jetboard in 3 levels, Hang 8, Air Crash and Plant Food. Unfortunately I didn't really like this because it felt heavy, mostly because you don't turn, you steer around in a circle. Granted, the only time this was annoying was when I was trying to go for the time gem and I ended up using save states to speed things up, but even so, I can't really explain it. If you play the PlayStation 1 version then the Insane version, you'll see what I mean. There are also 3 levels where you ride a polar bear cub named, well, Polar. The first 2, Bear It and Bear Down, are fine. Not bad, not good, they're just fine. Quick and short at least. You can jump, and use the slide button for a burst of speed for longer jumps. Though I'll admit the last one, Totally Bear, felt like I was just going way too fast. But hey, I didn't use save states, so it made it satisfying when I got all the crates broken. I also liked the little detail of going from the afternoon to sunset and then nighttime. It made me feel like I was making progress. You can also hang from mesh now and climb along it with only your spin attack to defend yourself. Again, simple, but it breaks up the monotony. Except for the secret exit in sewer or later, that one was pretty much irritating. The game doesn't tell you that if you hold the slide button you'll tuck up and that helps protect you, so it took me a while to figure that one out. 2 levels, Digging It and Behaving, will let you burrow underground, but only over specific dirt. In Digging It, this is fine, because there's only one bee chasing you when you pass these honey hives. But in Behaving, where you can't just spin them because there's now a swarm of them, well, we'll get to that soon. Luckily when you're burrowing though, you can still attack anything above you, and you can even break crates just by touching them. But this also applies to the second of the new crates, the nitro crates. If you touch these, you automatically blow up. Unless you have Aku Aku of course, but still, don't touch them. Finally, near the end of the game there are jetpack levels, Rocket and Pack Attack. You hold jump to fly forward, slide to fly backward, and you can steer with the left thumbstick. Despite being a main selling point for the game, like in the introduction, on the box art, and in some promotional material, I just felt these two were a bit too slow and the levels were a bit cramped. Though they are short and easy at least, so there you are. But that doesn't really matter because most of the game is just the platforming. And as I said earlier, the slide jump, super jump and slide spin helped the game feel faster, and I just felt safer, weirdly enough, making all these trickier jumps. So while the jump still doesn't let you turn on a dime like later games, this is definitely a step in the right direction. One thing this game does carry over from Crash 1 though, is repeating level biomes. However, when I died here I just thought, oh, I'll just try again, thanks to the levels not being as awkwardly designed. What I like about these levels is that, let's say, the opening Tropical Pathway level, despite being used 5 times, each one feels identifiable. The intro level is just there to get you used to the new physics. Turtle Woods is a good first level that places everything in sight for first time players. The Pits is the first of some levels that will split and you'll have to backtrack on. And the later levels, Night Flight and Totally Fly, make it pitch black, so you have to use these fireflies to light your way. But they will fly away after 5 or 6 seconds, so you better be quick about it. The chase levels are back with Crash Dash, introducing mines that if you step on them, they'll shoot you up and you'll slow down for a bit. Crash Crush brings in electric gates that you need to slide under, and some dash panels to help you speed up a bit. The last chase level, Unbearable, has you run away from giant polar bears, and Polar even turns up for a brief chase at the end. There are some new features added along with this game though, not just the nitro crates and reinforced crates. Along with the 25 levels, there are 2 bonus levels, Totally Bear and Totally Fly, which I spoke about earlier. These just give you extra gems, but they have no crystals in them. Yes, you heard me right, crystals. These are the main collectible now, but they are the easiest to grab since they're usually on the designated path, so you purposely have to walk past them to miss them. The only hard bit is, if you play a level where the path splits, you may need to backtrack or replay the level if you went down the wrong path. Collect 5 crystals as mentioned earlier and you fight that act's boss. The gems are still here, and you still need to break all the crates to get them, but guess what? 2 of the issues from the first game have been fixed. In my video on the first game, you'll remember that I said that the bounce crates were very inconsistent, but here, if you're not holding the jump button, the crates will break after 10 bounces, and if you hold the button to bounce higher, they'll always break after 8 bounces. Yeah, it's weird, it changes, because apparently there's like a time limit when you start bouncing on them, but hey, it's consistent once you know this, so that's already an improvement. And better than that, you no longer have to break all the boxes without dying. You can die as many times as you like and you'll still get the gem. Thank you. This is why I forgive shorter levels like the jetpack levels and the polar levels, because I'm not under as much stress, and if I die, well, I can just try again because I'm still going to get the gem. The only time I used save states, as I mentioned earlier, was for the jetboard levels, the last of which was the yellow gem, more on those soon, and the nighttime levels in Act 5 because I had to backtrack for the crates and I just didn't want to run out of lives so near the end of the game. Speaking of which, you still have the coloured gems, but now they have certain requirements to fulfill. Like in the first game, they're just some of the gems you get for breaking all the crates without dying, but here, you need to do specific tasks to get them. You get the blue gem in the first level, Turtle Woods, by not breaking any of the crates. Easy enough. The red gem is up here, but you just can't reach it. Even with the super jump, it's just way too tricky. So you have to find a secret entrance to get to the bonus warp room. Again, I'll go over those later. And it will take you to an alternate route, but you can just drop on top of it. The green gem is hiding behind a fake door in the Eel Deal, and if you grab it but then die, you'll go back to the checkpoint and you'll still have it, so just carry on with the level and then save your game. As mentioned earlier, you need to beat a time limit in plant food to get the yellow gem, and in behaving, there are some nitro crates stacked like stairs, and they don't glow. Ah yes, that's because these will take you to a secret bonus round where the purple gem is hiding. And again, if you grab it and end up dying, well, you keep it, so just finish the level and you'll save it. Getting the blue, red, green and yellow gems will get gem paths in Hang 8, Snowbiz, Ruination and Sewer or Later, where some of the crates are hiding, and getting all 5 coloured gems will get you the gem path on the final level, Spaced Out, for a bonus gem. But that's not the only level to have bonus gems. Like I said, the coloured gem routes do have crates that you will miss on your first try. The jetboard levels again have time limits in them that you have to beat, and some require you to find hidden exits to get to the bonus warp room. These secret exits are in Air Crash, Bear Down, Unbearable, Hanging Out, and Digging It. Once you get here, you can either do one of the bonus levels, Totally Bear or Totally Fly, or enter a previous level but on a different route where the rest of the crates will be waiting for you. But there is another thing you need to do to complete the game, and that's beating the death routes. These are found in Air Crash, Road to Ruin, Digging It, Cold Hard Crash, Piston It Away, and Night Fright. The latter 4 have crates that you need to break, which can be frustrating because backtracking is terrifying here. And I will admit I did have to use save states for some of these. But the 1st and 5th are just the alternate exits to get to the bonus warp room. But here's the catch. As the name implies, you have to get to this platform without dying. If you do die before you reach it, it just disappears and that's it, you have to start over. Although I noticed here that once I reached it, and then I died, and I went back, it was still there. So I think if you at least reach it, you can die and it will stay there. But I didn't want to test this because I was just scared of dragging the game out. And despite that, almost every single level in this game I legitimately enjoyed, as opposed to like the first game where there were some levels that I felt just went on for too long or were just too awkwardly designed. But not here, like most levels I think are just well-made levels, they are just good. Now there were some levels that did make me think, really? Really? Like in Snow Go, where you have to activate 2 crates like this. And the Nitro Crate Detonator being behind you. So yeah, if you see me start a level and I run back first, that's why, to check. There were really only 4 levels I can say I just didn't enjoy. Cold Hard Crash has the most crates in the game, 155 to be exact, and you need to do the death route. If you can get Aku here, I recommend you do. It has ice physics, a crate in a bonus round that's very easy to miss. You could overshoot your jump and miss the gem by mistake. And when you finish the death route, you just go to the next section of the level immediately and you've just missed a lot of crates. So if you do get the Deathroot gem there, you then have to play the level again, make sure you do the Deathroot again, then you have to go back to the platform and go back to the regular level so you can get the rest of the crates. Basically, there's a reason why this level is so infamous that it's one of the first search results when you look up Crash 2 on the internet. It really is just that tedious. Unbearable has one of the worst hidden bonus rounds ever. Yes, really, that's how you find it. Nothing tells you, you just have to know to do this. As well as having some, frankly, irritating hunter enemies. Not fun. Night Fright may as well have been the final level, because backtracking through the dark without save states isn't all that fun, funnily enough. And behaving. Need I say more? However, 23 out of 27 levels I enjoyed, so that's a victory in my eyes. I've mentioned them a few times now, but let's just talk about the new level select, the warp rooms. So instead of a map like the first game, you now have warp rooms, which breaks the game up into 5 acts, with 5 levels and a boss fight per act. All these levels are available, so you can just do them in any order you want. But let's be real, most people are just going to go clockwise anyway. But now, another one of my biggest problems with Crash 1 was fixed. Look, you can save your game anytime you want. Excellent, just stand under here, and there you go. And another problem fixed, it saves your lives. Fantastic stuff. You can travel between warp rooms if you want to play a level again, but there's no way of getting to the secret warp room unless you take a hidden exit. And if you want a rematch with a boss fight you enjoyed, just stand on the platform and hold either of the bumpers or triggers. Speaking of which, the boss fights, how about that? Another improvement? Well, mostly. Starting with Ripperoo, I thought he was going to have another exploitable pattern, but I nearly walked onto a nitro panel out of panic. So yeah, he was definitely an improvement. Simple, but he's the first boss, and already much better than Papu Papu, so again, we're making some progress. The second boss, or rather bosses, are the Komodo brothers, Joe and Mo. Mo will spin Joe like a top, and when he's dizzy, you have to spin into him before he recovers. Mo will also throw swords at you, so you gotta pay attention. Other than that, 3 hits and they're down. Now for Tiny Tiger, despite being one of the most popular and beloved Crash villains, I'm sorry to say, he's pretty easy. You just have to lure him over a platform that's about to drop, and you'll beat him in no time. Though it is worth noting the Insane remake does extend the timer before the platforms drop, so you could consider this original fight to be easy mode, while the remake is hard mode. Engine is the hardest boss in my opinion. Instead of spinning or sliding, both buttons will have you lob Wumpa Fruit at him. You need to target his weapons while they're active, and he can be quite trigger happy, particularly with the last weapon as it actually got me a few times. So this fight keeps you on your toes, and it provides a reasonable challenge, so the best boss fight to me. It's kind of strange how Cortex's right-hand men tend to have harder boss fights than him, because when you get to the final boss, it's another jetpack level, only faster this time, and funnily enough, the mines and asteroids don't damage you. All you have to do in this boss fight is hit Cortex 3 times before he reaches the blue ring at the end. If he does, you'll have to start over. The hardest thing about this fight was the depth perception, just trying to figure out how close I was to Cortex to hit him. Even so, like the first game, I actually beat him on my first try, so overall, I think the boss fights are much better than the first game, but only 2 of them really seem worthwhile. Maybe 3 if I'm being generous to Ripperoo. Now in case you haven't noticed from how I've been talking, I think this game fixes almost every major problem I had with the first game. The jumping? Still a bit slow, but better. The bounce crates? Mostly fixed. The completion aspect? Better. The saving? Fixed. Lives resetting? Fixed. If you'll let me make an analogy to food, the first game is like eating fast food. tasty, but leaves you feeling a bit sick afterwards. This game is like making a nice plate of steak and eggs with your favourite vegetables on the side. It's just better in every aspect. But I'm not going to be a blind fanboy. As I stated earlier, there were times where Crash just got stuck on something. The completion aspect, while better, does still make you go through it without dying to get to the death route, and backtracking is going to be the make or break point for a lot of people, particularly in behaving in Night Fright. Another improvement though is the visual design. Thanks to Andy Gavin's work on the engine, Crash, Cortex, Embryo and Ripper have much needed facelifts, and the new characters look pretty decent. Again, considering this is 1998, and you compare it to Mario 64's textured heads and Sonic Adventure reusing scrapped RPG expressions, it just makes these characters look so much better years later compared to those two. This is also the origin of the famous Crash dance, another perk of having improved performance. And that goes for the presentation as well. As I mentioned earlier, the time of day changes between levels. The ruin levels feature rain in one level but no rain in the other. The jetboard levels also have subtle colour changes to show that Crash is making progress. So you can see where Naughty Dog's future attention to detail got its start. Now for the controversial bit. I think the soundtrack in this game is 50-50. I don't know what Crash Bandicoot fans I'm offending by saying this, but while I think there are some tracks in here that are absolute bangers, others I just felt like, I mean they're fine, but they're not great. I mean, take Cortex's theme for example. I thought it was more intense in the first game than it was here. Slightly disappointing because I thought the first game's soundtrack had more atmosphere to it, and it stuck with me more as a result, whereas this one, I like most of it, but I just didn't really find it as memorable as the first game's soundtrack. Again, I don't know how unpopular that opinion is, especially since this game is held in high regard, but that's how I feel. Just so everyone knows, I'm purposefully skipping the story of these games because there isn't a lot to it, and I think it'd be more fun to go through the entire story in one video, so don't worry, I'm not skipping the story, I will talk about it, just not right now. That video will come soon. But in the end, I agree. The visuals are better, the music is mostly good, even if my choices of which music I found skippable is going to make people upset. And the big draw, like I said at the start, it's just a completely different game, this one. I didn't mind the shorter gameplay sections this time, even though the jetboard and jetpack levels were a bit of a letdown. I'll probably change my mind on them when I eventually do the Insane Trilogy, but we'll get to that in due time. And all of my problems have been, for the most part, been addressed. I don't mind the jumping this time. I mean, like I said, I have to make this clear. I don't mind the jumping. It's just, after playing the fixed jumps in the Insane Trilogy first, it does make physics-based jumping a bit jarring with this level design, but again, it just felt so much better, and I love Crash's moveset, that I just ended up going for risks regardless, and I didn't mind dying, because I was just like, oh, I'll just try that again. But now the big question. Do I recommend Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back? Has this game aged well? Yes. Yes, it has. I'm not going to compare it to the Insane Trilogy like the first game because it's aged so much better. The only exception being the Insane Trilogy autosaves, lets you travel to the secret warp room once you get there, and the load save wall is now for boss fights, making it easier for a rematch. In fact, you know what? Hot take? I think this is the game new Crash Bandicoot fans should start with, not the first one. It plays better, it looks better, it's easier to complete 100%, the soundtrack is subjective, but I don't think it's going to change the outcome that much, so yeah, if you're new to Crash Bandicoot like I am, so far at least, I recommend don't worry about the first game, just start with the second game, you're not missing too much. I do find it funny how a lot of people rank this as the best Crash Bandicoot game, because that kind of implies that this, right here, this is as good as it gets. It's all downhill from here. But I'll judge that for myself, because next time we're going to be looking at Crash Bandicoot 3 to see if the original trilogy ended on a high note. But that's for next time. For now, thank you for watching the video. If you agree or disagree with me, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. And until next time, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.